Boom. I'm gonna be reviewing Futurama, season 3, episode 14, episode 15. These are the last two episodes in the season. Thank you. So far, this season has been episodes that I've watched a lot, and these two are. What is that on my? What is that on my eye, man? I'm gonna deal with that. I think I might have eczema. Some dry skin. I think I might actually have dry skin. Wonder how I got that though. That's what happens when you don't take care of yourself, man. Yeah, it definitely looks like eczema. Anyway, trying to think here. So, so 14. What is that though? Hey, I'm just finding everything wrong. It's like I never look in the mirror or something. um, so let's start off with 14. So 14. What is the title of 14? Time keeps slipping, and episode 15 is I dated a robot, which I think they're going to deal with later on in the series. I can't remember if I've already reviewed that episode. But like I said before, I've watched this series like 2 times already. I watched every episode like 2 times, however many episodes that is. I'll try to stick on topic here. So, let's see here. 14. Time keeps slipping. This one is. It's interesting. I won't say, I'm falling into the same predicament as I did with previous episodes. I've seen these episodes so many times, so its appeal is worn off. Doesn't mean they're bad episodes though, especially in these cases. These are 14 is actually a good episode. It's a bit of it dates the creators. Because it takes a look at the Harlem Globetrotters. When the Harlem Globetrotters were the Harlem Globetrotters, which was the 70s, if I'm not mistaken, they were a traveling basketball team. They would pick pretty decent players from that area, and they would play against them in an arena. But they would basically, it's not necessarily street ball, and it's not necessarily NBA regulation basketball, but I wouldn't even say it's in between. I say it's more of a spectacle type stuff. It's kind of like wrestling versus MMA. Like wrestling, they're still physically throwing one another around the ring, and sometimes things slip. People actually get hurt. Versus MMA, where like they're really going at it. It's two people in that ring, and they're knocking each other out and breaking bones and things of that nature on purpose, not on accident. Same thing with the Harlem Globetrotters, but a little less danger involved in there. They're spinning the ball, they're behind the back, trick shots, goofy stuff. It's like an outing for the kids, really. But they're taking that whole, how should I say? They're taking that whole, they're taking that whole situation, and they're making those guys scholars from another planet, and then they come down and challenge Earth into a basketball game. Nobody wants to play them, so the professor makes mutants, but in the process of making mutants grow, he causes some smart stuff to happen, which I wasn't paying attention to. Like it causes time to start skipping forward, and they're like, well, eventually, because theoretically, somewhere in the near future, the sun's gonna blow up or Earth's gonna blow up, something along that line, and then everything's gone. I mean, that's theoretically. So what else? What else? So yeah, they take a look on that. There's jokes involved in it. What are they doing? They're talking jive, which is a man. It's kind of hard to explain. It's just slang, but from the '70s and primarily in ethnic communities, used in ethnic communities, not Ebonics. This is before Ebonics. This is it's hmm. The only way I could describe it is how it was basically described to me. Even though I grew up in that environment, somebody's like, "Hey, I say something slick to make it stick," something like that. That's pretty much the only. That's not fluent in it. That's the only thing I can do. You rhyme, you talk. So, yeah. So there's a lot of that going on, but still a good episode. I mean, like I said, it dates the creators because if you weren't a child or if you weren't affected by the Harlem Globetrotters, you won't be interested in this episode. Now, next episode, I dated a robot. I don't want to. I don't know if I'm giving it away. I know there's an episode in this series where Bender winds up dating Amy. I know that happens. I just can't remember if I reviewed that episode or if I didn't review it yet. So I don't want to start talking about it if I haven't reviewed it yet, because it's like, I mean, like I reviewed it twice. You get that? Anybody? Anybody hear me? Anybody get that? But in this episode, this one's a lot better. This actually fits the bill for a season finale, if you will. It's actually a lot more complex because you have Fry being obsessed with a robot, Fry being aware of all the things that he's ever wanted to do in his life that he can now do because he's in the future. Everybody being amazed by that. Because I think it also plays on. This is a good one because it makes you think. This also plays on, like, so for instance, I grew up in a city right next to the closest thing to one of the 8 wonders of the world that you could possibly see. It's a major tourist city, but my experience of that city was in impoverished parts of it. So I never went to like the ritzy parts and saw all the stuff that people dream about and see on postcards because it was like, oh, it's just whatever, I live right across the bay, so I can go right over there anytime I want to and do whatever. It doesn't really matter. But as you look at it from another perspective, somebody else coming from somewhere else and basically in the middle of nowhere, it's like, oh my God, I never seen anything like this. Look at the fog. Oh, it's so beautiful. And to me, growing up, it's like, yeah, it's fog, and they highlight that in this episode. One of the many things they highlight in this episode, not exactly my situation, but a situation similar. They generalize it, but I think it's pretty interesting. Trying to think what else they do in this episode. They're poking at Napster. Now Napster, geez, I'm gonna have to go way back. I'm gonna have to pull a book out. I wish I could pull a book out and like blow the dust off it, because this is how old this situation is. Now it's like commonplace. It's not even. It's like not even. It's like not even a thought now. There's a fly in here. I gotta get some spray and get that thing. But yeah, it's not even a thought now to get music off of some type of streaming site. But this is like when the internet was in its infancy, and Napster is like the first company to take advantage or convert popular songs into digital form and make them available to people. I can't remember exactly if they were selling a subscription or if they were just making money off advertising. I'm not 100%, but record labels and musicians themselves at this particular time weren't able to capitalize off of it. So of course, hey, you're stealing from me. Like, you're not really stealing. I mean, technically they're stealing. Technically they're not stealing. It's kind of like a gray area. I can't. Of course, I was a kid when this happened, so I can't remember. I can't remember what, if anything, happened to Napster and the settlement, if there was one or anything like that. But anyway, and they're going after Lucy Liu and her acting. She's a popular actor. I think I only saw her in one movie though, which was Kill Bill. Oh yeah, and they also make reference to another movie, Charlie's Angels, which was they took it from a TV show and turned it into a movie with all different girls, of course, and then just, I mean, that movie's been, and then that franchise has been remade several times. One just came out not too one just came out recently and did very poorly. And well, geez, I know why I did poorly, because it came out of nowhere. That's why I did poorly, not because it was a bad movie. Of course, I didn't watch it because I didn't know it existed until it was out of the theaters. No, actually, I didn't know it existed until it was in the theater. I'm like, what? They made another Charlie Daniels movie. Why did they do that? It's like I hadn't seen any press for it. I didn't see any commercials for it. Nothing. Anyway, trying to think what else happens in this episode. Pavarotti makes an appearance, famous singer. Uh, uh, yeah, they all get attacked by paper towels are a must and a broom. Uh, they all make what is it? They all make yeah, they get all the main characters. So Fry, Leela, Amy, Bender, and they all wind up getting attacked by a horde of Lucy Lubots, which is pretty funny. They died an interesting way too. They've consumed a large amount of popcorn kernels, and then a hot light is trained on them, causing their fluids to heat up, which is oil, causing the popcorn kernels to pop, or yeah, causing the popcorn to pop, causing their bodies to expand and explode. Interesting. I think what else happens in there now. What else happens in this episode? Oh no. I think I missed something. I missed a part from the previous episode. So let me finish this episode and then go back to that one because I just thought of it. So, this is episode 15. I dated a robot. Bender winds up falling in love, or they find up getting into a romantic relationship. Because it's this thing in Futurama where they take popular stars and only their heads are preserved in a jar. And, so that way they get to bring in all these characters. It's a great way to expand dialogue and also characters and references. Okay. Now, what I missed from the previous episode, which would be episode 14, was Fry finally got a chance to be with Leela in a relationship, even though if it was for a brief second. But he had a chance to either save the world or save existence or be with Leela. He chose to save existence, which I have my own thoughts on that. Just I don't know. I just figure like, hey man, it's like it's the opportunity you've always been waiting for, and if something like that comes up, and talking in real life, of course, if an opportunity that you always been waiting for comes up, and you have to choose between that what you've always wanted and basically living or keeping everybody else alive, which one would you choose? It's an interesting question. It's an interesting question. It's like, but you really wouldn't remember being with her, or you really wouldn't remember enjoying that particular moment if you decide to choose that. So, hey, just decide to live and try again. That's what I would do. But both episodes are good. I'm gonna rate them pretty high. Now let's get on to the next season and see if I've seen these episodes or not.